Hey folks, this is Tony and welcome to some more Game Dev. Coming back to you again, we've got 6 days left until my vacation, in which case the streams are going to be a lot less frequent. But until then, we are still continuing forward, trying to get to a demo by January 5th. That deadline is approaching rapidly though, so we're going to jump into it. The last few days have just been map stuff. I wish that I could differentiate and make something different and have some different content, but this is still the things we need to be working on. So we're going to continue on with the castle maps. There's 2 more maps I'd like to make today, as well as hooking up the intro cutscenes for those maps. This may take us the whole day. We're leaving the second half, the stream from 2 to 4 after our lunch break open, just in case. But we're going to just try and focus on just kind of getting the intro done. Beyond that, there's still a lot of other content that we need to build, from the skill trees to the rest of the maps in the forest, as well as like passes on the enemies and the abilities, general polish, options, demo end screen, tons to do. But let's jump in. So I had started playing around with a map that looked like this for the 3rd room in the intro. Let's start from the beginning. Let's go to Infinite Retries Dungeon, Demon Castle TO1, the first tutorial room. So just to recap, the idea here is that we are starting the very first run that the goddess is going to send us on essentially a heist. We're going into the Demon Lord's castle, sneaking in under his nose. The goddess is going to use basically the last of her power to send us in to steal an artifact from the Demon Lord. We barely have any understanding what's going on, so we're going to need some cutscenes in here illustrating that to the player and through Hero's dialogue. So we're going to try and use exposition through dialogue of Hero, essentially speaking to themselves. I'd also like to see today if it's possible to get some interact to trigger cutscenes up and running. We have interacts to trigger like screens, but I'd like to have stuff like this where Drixie has made a book. I'd like to be able to, interact with that book in order to be able to have some sort of dialogue come up that's like, oh, it's a book about alchemy, but I don't really understand any of it. New modifications we've made to this space since you saw it yesterday. Drixie has added this like demon door. Again, would be nice if there was like an interact here that's just like it's too heavy to shove. I can't open it essentially. We still think it could be bigger though. It's probably a polished task for after the demo, but it would be neat if this was even like a 5 high wall and the door actually took up the entire space here and was 4 wide, but that's going to require a fair amount of work to kind of set that up. So we're going to leave it for the time being. So we enter in through that storage room. Let's go back. Technically, I didn't talk it through well. Oh, I guess also we're going to run out of time here. That's one of the first things we need to fix. For this first run, the player should have no time constraint. They should be able to walk as much as they want, and there shouldn't be any ability to like run out. So we're going to start over, just so that we don't hit that clock that isn't on the UI right now. We can't see it, but we're going to still try and respect it because it will just trigger us back to the Goddess Realm at some point. So yeah, we're going to have to disable that for this first run. I don't have a great idea how I'm going to do that, but we'll think of something. So the idea here is we're launching into this storage room. We're kind of exploring a little bit, and we're going to move on into the next room, which is meant to be like a hallway. And we're kind of coming in here, seeing a door we can't enter. Coming along this area, we see a rope that won't let us go down this hallway, kind of indicating there's more to this castle than what we're currently seeing. Again, we can explore most of this, but eventually we lead into this room. And the idea here was I was curious if we could do some sort of like vault area for the item to be stored in, but it just didn't feel right. And when discussing it with Drixie last night, I realized what I'd like to see here is another hallway. I think we want to do 3 rooms before we actually get to the final vault, and we'll make this another hallway. It'll make the experience feel a little bit longer, and I'm not too concerned about that because honestly it doesn't take very long to walk through these spaces. We'll do another hallway, and then we'll have it so that you walk up instead of walk like down. That was the other thing I really didn't like, and it took me a little while to figure out why I wasn't kind of this room wasn't clicking for me as a vault, but part of it's because we're coming down. So if we want to have any kind of object that's like the pinnacle, it'll be facing towards Hero and thus away from the player's perspective. So if we have a hallway coming in this way and then we go up, we'll get to enter in from the bottom of the screen and we'll move up towards the top of the screen, and the object will be facing the camera as Hero approaches it. And I think that's going to work better. So first off, let's get rid of the clock. Also, let's clear all this. We're going to restart all that because this whole thing doesn't feel right to me. And the map editor is feeling good enough that I think we can rebuild relatively quickly. Ooh, unlockable characters with the hydration. That's a good call. I don't know where my water bottle is. I'll be right back. Thank you as always. I think about everything, but that's the one thing I miss. All right, let's switch up the background music as well. Sure. A little too upbeat for the Demon Castle. I think it's Simmering Chaos. I think this is the piece of music we're probably going to end up using for this zone, which... Where do we decide that? Oh, it's in here. Let's make that change real quick. I think this is the audio we should be using. So right now we have a couple of different pieces. Let's add a new one for Simmering Chaos. This will use that piece. It's not from the RPG pack. It's not from the battle pack. Oh, are we missing the scenes pack in our folder structure? We seem to be. Let me go grab that real quick. That is over here on another screen. I have some of that music in a different location. Scenes music pack. That's going to be this one. Should be able to just show and explore this. Paste it in. Oh, I put it in the wrong spot. Gotta drag it down. This might take a second to import some more of the audio. Yeah. So we're gonna get the Simmering Chaos hooked up. We're gonna need to modify all 3 maps to have that as its default music. And then we're also going to... Ooh, maybe the vault should have a different piece, actually. Maybe as we see the object, the relic that we're coming to, like, steal from the Demon Lord. That could be interesting. So then we're going to fix the clock. In fact, can we do that now while that's loading? We can. Let's look at us saving time. Clock manager. So this thing has a set 120 seconds. This is another task that we do need to fix at some point. I don't know where it is on this board, but somewhere in here we call out that we need to have the timer... Yeah, we need to change the way the timer works. Either it needs to be node-based, or there's another idea that me and Drixie were talking about where it's maybe the reward for revealing rooms. But regardless, this current hard-coded 120 needs to be like a changeable net value that can be updated. Here's where we gain time. This isn't used anywhere. That's increasing the time. Advanced time. And this one is used as part of the magic cost. Okay. So... I think what we want to do here is we're going to set up a flag for this. I don't like this long term. I think there should be some other metadata that gets modified. But we don't have a great way of doing those types of rewards right now. I think I have a system that's half built for that. If we actually, I'm gonna go look. Oh, my solution's gone. Window. How do I get my solution back? View? Solution Explorer. There we go. If we take a look at the flags, do I have a section in here for... results? Yes. So I have a system for something to result in something. Essentially, the results manager kind of handles some data for quests and for locations and some other stuff to do with the town work I was doing that never really got finished because we moved on to dungeons, as it was a higher priority to get the actual gameplay opposed to just like the village area done. So this is kind of in a half-working state in a lot of ways, but this idea... Oh, and we do have it here. Is it used at all? It's initialized, and we have a trigger result, which right now only happens as part of moments, right? That was like the last thing I was working on. Most of that's probably going to get scrapped now that the 2D world looks good enough. Originally, this was all driven by screens, was the idea behind the town, similar to Etrian Odyssey. There was like a heavy reference for that, but just a screen-based town area was the idea. So right now, the only result we have is like a flag result, which is something that sets a flag to true. I might want to have a result for changing the clock state. Okay, I think we could... The mic is in the way. 1 second. I need to move this more like that. Sorry for any vibration noises. Okay, Oh, did the music just finished importing? Okay. I think for now we're going to just use a flag, and we're going to check that flag to determine whether or not we can increment time. This is not a permanent solution, though, because every time we check flags, we have to kind of loop through a lot of the flag data, and every time we move, we're going to have to do that, and I don't love that. Where did I... Clock Manager, Advanced Time. Get me back to here, please. Thank you. So we're going to need some sort of hard-coded flag for the time being. Let's go... Open a window. Open the drive. Game data. We're going to add a new flag in here, which is going to be clock disabled. And we're going to have that set. I can give a default value for these, right? Yeah, I can set the initial state. And we can have it active to start with. And then we'll download that to our TSV folder and import it into our JSON. Download, overwrite the existing flags. We're going to save that. I'm going to validate something in SourceTree real quick. I want to make sure that that TSV JSON data doesn't stomp anything. So if we come into here, we do IT parse flags. That's going to bring it into a JSON file. And then I'm just going to check to see whether or not that JSON file, it only has clock disabled added. Okay, we didn't make any hand edits to any of this stuff. I believe we want the... Oh, it looks like for some of these we're using the B variation. I'm going to assume that's correct. Simmering... Chaos. Sorry, I'm a little all over the place. Okay, music is set. We're going to set this as the default music. We've imported the flags. Because we have that flag imported, we're going to have it so that by default, clock disable, we're going to make sure that this is status not not started. So it by default, it will be active, which means the clock will be disabled. And this is super expensive, but we'll find a more clean way of doing it that doesn't require looping through all our flags eventually. I should do some profiling, honestly, because honestly, the big thing is this may not be as expensive as I think it is, because it is just looping through a dictionary, but this might get rather large. But I'm programming around it being a huge performance cost, and it may not be. This might just be fine. So then we're going to have to write somewhere, which I'm not sure where, but we're going to need to update something at some point to set the clock to active. And it'll turn that flag to not started, which I believe we should be able to do. If we come all the way down here, probably one to try and set that up with is going to be the first cutscene with clock tutorial. We will backend set a flag. We're going to set clock disabled to not started. It will no longer be active. Okay. So I believe that means we should be able to walk around as much as we want now. Let's test it. Ooh, 4 instances are missing a prefab. What is that about? Missing prefab goods. This is likely okay. I think that's because we did a re-import of all assets. Oh. Wait, how did we get... Oh, I chose the wrong scene to go to. Scenes, Demon Castle, TO1. That's why. I was like, why is it showing me all these errors for things that we haven't used in a long time? Perfect. Okay. So now we should be able to walk around as much as we want, and we should never run out of time. Interesting. I just noticed a bug, which makes a ton of sense. So when we walk in here, you can just for a moment see this image over top of Hero, and that's a sorting issue with transparencies. Right, we're gonna write that down real quick. Shippable for now, but I would like to see if I can write a shader to fix that. It's just gonna take me probably like a day to fix that one bug. Let's see, bugs. It's kind of polishy, but whatever. As Hero walks into room, fade overlaps in front of the character of Hero. Transparent sorting issue. Okay. We're going to select both of those, group them together as we were. So yeah, continuing to walk around. Last time we ran out of time when we got to the next room. So we're going to kind of just fully explore that area and then Hopefully at some point we'll have moved around long enough that I'm convinced that the clock is disabled. Could also just put like a print statement in or something to also validate, but... Oh, I didn't mention this either, but Trixie made a new floor type for the vault area. This won't be this room, but should be able to reuse it. She turned it into a playmat similar to the large demon floor one. I'm going to say there's a good chance that we have successfully disabled the timer. I definitely feel like we've taken 120 turns. Okay, and then we'll make sure that the flag setting in the cutscene is working. So we'll come into here, go to the forest, TO1, and we'll see if this loads up okay. And we should get the initial cutscene on spawn. No, there's still a bug where we don't get that cutscene, isn't there? Yeah, we have to come from the Goddess Realm in order to see the cutscene that we're looking for. Core, Goddess Realm. Oh, we got a new image for that checkpoint screen as well. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, so we got to do the whole thing. We don't turn on the UI for the clock unless we go through the boot screen, because the first goddess cutscene turns on the clock. We'll get there. I just want to make sure that this clock disabling is working. We're going to speed up the game too. Kind of go through these initial cutscenes. The clock is turned on. Now this should have disabled. Yeah, so now we see the clock is ticking down. Okay. Perfect. Some errors around playing sound effects too fast because we've sped up the game, but that's okay. Perfect. I'm happy with that setup. Let's go back to TO3. I think I want to save as this one as TO4, and we're going to Dungeons, Demon Castle, set up this as the vault room, and then we'll re-edit TO3 after the fact. Okay, if I raycast the environment, it should generate this asset for us for the reveal, and it should also generate the level data, which I have updated to give it the addressable name, and I did get the naming format correct, so we no longer have to go edit that every time we make a new level. The last thing we'll need to do is just do Demon Castle on the room processor and just process the floor, which I could build into the raycast, but it can be kind of expensive to loop through all of the images and process them, so it still feels like an okay, like, separate step. We see a TO4, its addressables are all set up correctly, so we should be able to walk into this room. Some error around the GUI, but otherwise, yeah, we're loaded in, and we get a white floor because that's the default. Okay, cool. So then we need to set up the transitions. Let's go back to TO3, which looks identical, but we have changed. From here, I think we want to exit pretty much dead center, so that the room we go up into, we're entering right in the middle of it. So this is going from 0 to 15. So we're going to want to be at 8 and 9, but we're starting at 0, so 7 and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That should be right in the middle. This is a west transition. Does that sound right? Oh, is this placed slightly too far forward? Should probably just change the snapping to 1. Not sure why I have it on 0.5 snapping, considering it's always a problem. Okay. So this is labeled as a west entrance. Yeah, and goes to an east. Okay, that I think is correct. Oh, because this was copied originally from the TO2, which did have this spawn entrance. So yeah, this should be good data. We're going to need to update this to go to TO4. And this should go to TO4. And then... that should be fine. Now we go into... oh, we have to regenerate the level menu. Wait for it to compile. Okay. Now here, we're going to want to put a room piece or an entrance right at the same spot. Yeah, that's right. And then we'll grab these elements here, drag them into position for our spawning locations. Okay. That's why we have it on 0.5. Because we want to move these whole digits, but we want to move these into the halfway points. Well, figured that out. These are going to go to the Demon Castle Room 3. And that should all connect. We're going to make one of these the default entrance if we're spawning this room directly in Unity. Now, what piece of music do we think is going to make sense for this room? No, I don't think it's Frail. That's too cheerful. Let's listen to this one for a little while. I'm curious, this might fit the vibe of the vault room. It's a little like ominous and a little bit creepy still with the ticking sound. But it also feels very like majestic. This might work. The ticking is a bit intense though. It's pretty continuous. It does get covered by other pieces though. Okay, we'll see. Maybe the ticking gets to me over time. Okay, so that's the room. That's the setup of the spawns. It's really abnormal also to like walk into a room area like this and not have the tiles in front of you revealed. wonder if I could use that for a cutscene at some point. Just pure darkness on the other side. Let's pencil in some shapes. So I think this thing should be taking up most of the space. We can probably almost have the vault room feel a bit like a funnel. So it like starts something like this. The walls will go around the outer edge. You know what, maybe we even want to go in two. So we open out into like a 3 wide area. And then this comes in like so. We want to have this even, I think. Very symmetrical. This one is set up weirdly. I'm gonna fix that. So we don't have any half tiles. I think this is what we're looking for. We might want to play with the amount that we like open up. What's a little weird about this space too, and this is another thing I realized yesterday, is that when we do large spaces like this, which I haven't done a lot of, because we only give you a very limited vision, you actually don't see a lot of it all at once. You do have to kind of walk around to explore and see the whole picture, which does dull a little bit of the epicness. So if we were to walk directly in, and we were to say that this room has the item that we're looking for right in the center, it would be somewhere around here. And yeah, the very nature of like ISO is that it will face the player like I was hoping, but it will not be center screen. In order for it to be center screen, we'd actually have it need to be around here. Or here? Interesting. Interesting, interesting, interesting. If we had the entrance more like here, and then we walked up to the spot in this location, that would feel much more in the center of the player's view. This is why I didn't go too crazy on designing room TO3, is because this room matters a lot more to me, and TO3 we might need to shift the entrance location depending on how I'm feeling about the space. But I also don't really want to have an entrance right up against the edge of the world here, because that doesn't give us a ton of room to kind of funnel the player in. I also don't love the idea of moving the map because that's the other first thing that comes to mind is, well, what if we just shifted the whole map to be slightly more up or something? But like, there's reasons for UI and stuff that we do it this way. Another thing that we haven't really ever done before, but I don't see why we couldn't, is we could also make it so this thing actually has 3 entrances. We'll have to make the same choice on the other side. But if we just make this East 03, everything else should remain the same. And this would just need to have a corresponding West 03 on the other side. And if we made this the default entrance... Interesting. So there's a couple of neat things we can do here with our systems. We can make it so all 3 of the transition tiles in the previous room all point to this one. So unlike normal, when you walk in on a tile in the previous room on this side, you come in on the same side. We could make it for the purposes of this cutscene, you always enter in through the center of the room. If we do this, everything will be a little off-center, but the player may not notice that because it's kind of hard to tell. We can bring all this in so you walk a little bit with it not being fully opened up. And then you're entering just into a large central room. Let's add a overhead scene room. We'd modify these ones. We'd modify these ones to be walls. These are going to be facing down towards the player, so these can be tall. We can do... We need to repopulate. There are new props that we're missing. So let's start there. Yeah, 59. So if we select here, we can even give a shot at the new walls that we made yesterday off camera, which are 40 high, which makes the space feel a lot more ominous in my opinion. And then on this side, oh, we can't undo. The multi-selecting is still a little confusing on which one it chooses to be as its base and to copy from. We'll just do it manually. Walls. Oh, we probably want these to be 20 high. There's a way I could do it where they'd be 30 if we do this mostly as a non-interactive cutscene. But we'll start with the player having control and see how that goes. Alright, so that should be most of the wall editing done. Let's see how that looks in game. I mean, we can mostly see it here. Gonna need to rotate all the tops and everything. It almost feels too enclosed. I want this to feel really grand and open. And this doesn't even feel big enough. I guess that's because we chose to do 4 high walls instead of 3. Makes everything feel much more enclosed. I wonder... I like my vision for this is like a vault room, but if I wanted to make it feel open, maybe a balcony would be an even better choice. But why would you store like a powerful artifact on a balcony? Hubris? Okay. I feel like you kind of zone out the ticking in the background as this music goes. I actually really like it. If you're not focused on it, it's not too bad. Let's change all these to be... You're one step ahead of me, unlockables. Let's change these back to 30. So you've... Unlockable characters in Twitch chat says, can you make objects reveal the area around them? So you've hit the nail on the head. My thought process here is... I'd like to make it so we might be on different pages, but the core idea I think is similar. But what I'd like to do is I'd make it to in the center of the room. I want to have the object that you're here to get, the object of power essentially that you're going to be using for the rest of the game, which I'm going to refer to as the Omni weapon. It is like using the goddess's power to be both a sword, a bow, a mace, whatever it needs to be. And my thought would be, I'm wondering if we can make it so that object like pulse reveals the space as we walk up to it, so that we don't have to go walk around the whole thing, but it has this emanating power that it's like revealing the space around it. And that'll make it feel way more impactful and powerful as this object that like is cutting through the darkness. So you're thinking with torches, which I think is along the same lines. So if we come right up the center, the object of power would be right here. Are we now uneven in our spacing after we collapse this down to 3? A little bit. This side goes out 3, this side goes out 4, but I actually don't mind that because of the isometric. You kind of don't, like, the focal point remains. Yeah, same idea, different focal point. In fact, I want to show the object that we worked on because I'm pretty excited about this. Drixie worked very hard to make something very cool. Is that under Art Deco? Ooh, she made a bunch of different things. Omni weapon display. Let's open it in A-Sprite, because in A-Sprite we also have a little bit of extra cool. So this is the kind of artifact of power. And then I would like to have it have this like glow effect. This was something I mocked up the rings very quickly. And Drixie's going to do a pass of making it feel better. We also realized if you turn on onion skinning, the light glow is actually something we probably want to replicate. So just like copying the beams in between the different frames and then lowering their transparency. But like if we could have it do this animation and pulse, and each time it pulses, another part of the room reveals, I think it could also be potentially on each step. So every time the character moves, it also triggers a cutscene that causes more of the room to be revealed by this kind of pulse effect. This does mean that I need to figure out animating props, which we don't. We have the ability to animate characters, and I have the lightning bolt effect that we created, which is also an animation. I think that's under Dungeons Fields. It's not under materials. Shared. Animating billboards, beam of light. So this thing is a multi-step like animation with like the same setup as like a character essentially, but I had to like do a bunch of special coding to redirect the character animation to this folder. I think I just want to make another script that like is default pointing to the props folder. And like you can just have like an animation folder that allows you to like create animated props. Because I think it's the same as a character. It should be the same functionality to animate something. It's essentially just creating a bunch of animations and a controller associated with it. But you're not wrong. We could also just hack it into an NPC character like we did with the goddess. I think they should be a slightly different system because I'd also like them to be placeable via this prop tile layout, and maybe that needs to be like a fourth type in here, which is like animation, and then you can like set the frame rate and stuff. Out of curiosity, did we import then the Omni weapon display? We did. Perfect. Ooh, I might want that to be in a different position. Let's make this a custom prop. Let's go room decor, Omni weapon display case. Let's bring it forward. To there, I think. That feels much more in line, at least with the floor texture we currently have. Let's see how it looks with the blue dotted lines. So we'll load up to that area. Yeah, I think that looks really good. And then we still have room with its height to still put some decorations on the back wall here. Yep. Okay, cool. I'm sold. I like this layout. It's growing on me. It's maybe not as center as I would like in some regards, but I think that's going to work. Let's start decorating this room, and we'll go back and do room TO3 after. Yeah. So how do we want to deco this? How many across is this that you can see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it is an even number. So if we go here, 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 and here, we should be able to change the right-sized walls of these to be windows. And that looks okay. We now know from the door work that we did in the TO2 room, Drixie can make this one large window. We'll just need to have it split in half, essentially. And then along this wall, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So probably go in one, and one here, and change the left walls to be windows. Now here, I think I'd be curious to see what this looks like with some banners. Also, I think we got some new assets. Drixie made some of these and I have not seen them all. Purple tapestries. Ooh. Slightly different feel. We also have these gold shields. And we have some silver shields. I think I like the tapestries a little bit more. And I kind of like the purple. Not rolled up carpets. I think I like the... Oh, that's also interesting. We could have a door on the other side of this as well instead of a window. That might be interesting too. You know what? Let's leave these as windows. These are also too tall. There's too many similarly named things in this folder. Oh, right, we can't undo. I keep forgetting I haven't fixed that yet. That is something I should do, though. I think we could have something interesting here where there is a doorway leading in this direction. I don't know how we open these doors yet, but I'm going to play with this layout and just see how it feels. Wrong wall. Interesting. Oh, that's going to render in front of the window. Yeah, we can't have overlapping, so if we wanted to have a window here that was taller, we'd need to actually... We'd need to make one. I feel like maybe I should make another drop down to this thing that isn't just left and right wall, but is like walls set like both walls simultaneously. Bet you that would be pretty handy. Can't undo. So what if we click... So we clicked this one, then this one. What if we click this one, then this one? Still overwrites the wrong way around. Okay, there we go. I don't fully know why it's doing it right sometimes and wrong other times, but we can just multi-select all of them and just change them at the same time. Okay. And then here, this part of the room is starting to feel a bit empty. I suppose this might be finally time for pillars. Ooh, dark marble. Oh, without the extra kind of vines on it. We could try just dark marble, just a basic form. This room is more aesthetic too, so if you can't see everything, it's not the end of the world. We can also try here and here. No, that cuts off too much of the doorway. And once again, I tried to undo, and that doesn't work. Like, it undoes the drop-downs, but it doesn't undo the creation of the objects. So then we could have a rug coming this way and then a rug going that way. That'll probably look okay. Let's give some candelabras a try. Room decor. Yeah, that clips into the wall. I think it has to be front. Let's do them as custom and see if we can get this positioned even better. Room decor. Candelabras. Bring them all the way forward. Let me see my sliders. I think that looks okay for this one. This one obviously doesn't work. Individually, I think it has to be at least -3. Yeah, the pillar is going to kind of hide anything we place in that back corner. So I don't think it makes sense to place one here. Let's try one over this side. Magnus with the hydration. Appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, I think this one needs to be all the way in the corner. I played around with some more lighting as well yesterday off camera. I'm not able to get lighting to work much better than what we already have. Not without me doing like a whole pass on shaders, which is unfortunate for sure. I think that's going to look okay. So then we have some light in the sides here. Is there anything we can put in this back corner over here that's going to look okay? Unlockable character says, does that mean the pulse won't change the pillar shadow? No, it won't. The pulse will be a visual effect in terms of like an actual texture, but I can't actually have it like light the environment. As far as I can tell, the way that I've kind of written the shaders with the lighting, it really only respects one texture map, which is from the shadow. So essentially we take in the main light, so it doesn't really have an idea of like having multiple lights. It just takes in one main light, which is our directional light, and then it lerps through the ambient light strength over the texture and puts that into here. There's some extra logic here somewhere. Oh, it's this one here, custom function. So this is like running like a custom HLSL shader. And this is essentially catching the shadow coordinates. But I believe this is only getting it from, yeah, one main light. So we can change the position of that main light per shader. Or per level, so each level has a directional light, and we can rotate its position, but I tend to find that the rotation that we chose for it to begin with here, which is 20, -20, kind of creates the most interesting shadows to me. But we can do stuff like this. It just does look a little weird, obviously, at certain angles. Like, this doesn't look great to me. This looks fine, but then here it starts to break down because what's happening is we're getting these wall shadows in behind casting shadows on the front walls. So like we'd need to find some way of like, hey, if a piece is hidden because another block has appeared, then maybe we should turn off that billboard now that it's no longer visible. That would also save on performance as well, and then it wouldn't be casting shadows on the wall in front. Or we could even do maybe this is another good reason for why these should be meshes instead of just billboards, so that we wouldn't have it lighting itself in this situation. It would know better. I was thinking of putting it inside the Omni weapon, but I guess that would make it go off. Yeah, I'm not sure what tags this as main light either. Again, I followed a tutorial for some of this stuff a ways back, and I don't even know when I modified and created all this, probably 6 months ago, which surprisingly is enough time to kind of forget how a lot of the shader code works. I just don't work with it enough for it to like stay inside my brain. I like got it working and I was like, yes, finally happy, and then kind of moved on. But coming back and being like, wait, why can't I have multiple lights? Oh, right, it's because it's literally just one of them. Yeah, there's a couple different versions of this. Main light half, main light float. Oh, there was an additional light function. I guess I just didn't hook this up. Pixel light count, get additional light count. Where's this come from? I'm doing main light float here, which is basically running this function. But if I hooked this one up, it might work. I bet you main light isn't like a tag or something. I bet you main light is like just a shadery term for the directional light. Like, if I was to add another directional light in here, would it operate under both of them? No, it still only has one of them. So what determines you as main light? I want to also get it back to its original position. Yeah, new rabbit hole unlocked. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, but also, what if? So if we grab this same piece of code and we get out the position, it still seems to be the only thing this needs. What if we change this to... If I understand this code correctly, I think I would just need to do additional lights. But what does this need? This needs a couple of different floats. Main light just takes in world position, and then it outs a bunch of directions and stuff. This one takes in, a bunch more stuff. It takes in the spectral color, the smoothness, the world position, the world normal, the world view. And then it outputs a diffuse and specular. Oh. I see why I didn't set this up. Because I didn't want to have the diffusion. I don't want light color to modify my pixels, at least not right now. And so I wanted only the shadow, and it looks like shadow is only done via the main light. Okay. We're gonna put down the rabbit hole. We're putting down the rabbit hole. I'm sorry, chat. We're coming back. We're coming back. Anyways, that's a small explanation of like the little bit of shader work that I've put in just to get these shadows up and running. I don't know. I followed some tutorial a ways back, so maybe I can go track that down again and see if I can find another way to have multiple things cast shadows. But surprisingly, adding multiple lights has always been tricky in Unity. It's way harder than you would think it would be. So this room is pretty simple, but once we get a floor in here with some red rugs, I think that'll add a lot of color and diversity to it. Oh, we are running into the shadow on the window problem again. Yeah, I don't really want to set all windows to not receive shadows. Because what'll happen then is there'll be a little sliver of wall here and the bottom of the wall which will be full color while there's a shadow around it. We need to separate these into two different textures. Could get a smaller pillar, potentially. That also works. I don't mind it. Oh, it feels way less centered now. Yeah, because this one's now further away, so I need to pull this one away in order to kind of keep the centralness of it. Ooh, that does reveal the corner in the back as like a bonus to this change. What other room decor did we get? Open crate is not really for this room, I don't think. Although mostly hilarious to just have a random box in the background. It doesn't really fit the vibe I'm going for. Ooh. Yeah, Drixie made this like evil enclosure looking one. This was like her first attempt at it, but I was like, I want it to be open and not like behind glass. That's a little too dramatic for the corner, I think. It's going to draw the eye too much and be like, what's that over there? But it is very cool. I almost feel like we need a toned down version of these. Just more rolled up rugs in the corner. What else we got? Nothing new in fences. Don't think it's torch time. Anytime I add the torch, it just feels like it's really pointing out the fact that we're missing lighting. I don't mind the plant. I have some notes and feedback on it, but this is my first time seeing it. Unlockable characters in Twitch chat. It says vacuums haven't been invented yet, so when the rug gets dirty, it's just rolled up and thrown in a corner. Yeah, until you can take the time to go brush it out over a balcony. So this looks very flat. I think that Drixie built these very quickly, so I think this pot is missing like a secondary color. It's only got 2 colors. I think if it added a third, it would feel more in place in this world. But for the time being, I think that has a pretty good effect. Last thing we could try doing, well, not last, but another thing that's worth attempting is seeing if we can do some of those tables. Any new tables in here? No, but I do think Drixie ended up playing with like some of the pixels in here. I don't really know what she did, but she says it looks better now. Oh, we run into the shadows on the windows again. Both from this plant and from these tables. I like the windows so much, but they keep causing these little problems. I think this probably seems fine. Like, I want to deco it a ton, but I think this is probably enough props. And maybe I just live with some shadows on the windows for now. Maybe we need curtains or something in front of them. Curtained windows. I just feel like the blue adds such a contrast to the overall red space. Like, if we were to swap these windows out, my gut is that this is going to look way worse. Yeah, I mean, even if we just did normal walls. I mean, it doesn't look worse, but it definitely looks less regal. And I don't think it's just like a ton of pillars. Yeah, that just looks cluttered. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Yeah, now I'm gonna have to delete each of these manually. Makes the door stand out more. Okay. It could be paintings. Paintings is a good idea as well. I think for now, rather than fussing for hours about the fact that I don't have the exact prop I want, let's just leave them as windows. I do like these tables here, so we'll leave some of these other pieces as well. I'm gonna drop this plant because this shadow... What if we just didn't have a plant on here? Would that lower it enough that it just looks not as... Nope, not that one. Not the cartoony bulb. The bottle, cartoony bottle. No. Yeah, a basic table works a lot better. Let's do one with the Royal Runner, though. Yeah, so we just don't have a plant on that one. And then here, I would like to have something. The return of the double crates. It's just paintings of windows. Perfect, nailed it. Do we want more tapestries? What if we had more tapestries? What if we had some red ones on the outside? Well, that's kind of neat. Honestly, the only thing I don't like is that the extra outline on the purple ones make them look a lot better, and the red ones without it make it look a little bit more odd. Maybe we keep them consistent. Weirdly, that looks almost too busy now. Just kind of going through the options. Just some rubble? No, it's not the vibe we're looking for. You know what? Honestly, it might be that we're supposed to have torches or something on those walls. What if we made them walls instead? Let's make it west-east facing. That's as far back as we can go. What if we have it here? Can we add it to this side? Add a prop. Make it a torch. We'll figure out how to make them actually animate later. We'll do left wall. Oh, we want it to be custom though. And then bring it forward. Oh, no, it's not left, it's right wall. I think. And then this is pulling it off the wall a little bit, but what if we just raise the height? So because you're never going to get that physically close to it. Can we do that? Oh, so close. We just need to make it so it doesn't cast shadows, I think. Maybe the shadow's okay there? Maybe that's the trick to how we do layering props, is instead of trying to figure out how to get them to render in the same spot and choose their order of rendering, we just like have it float in front slightly and then like move it up so that the forced perspective makes it look right. We might be able to do windows that way. I'm just not sure whether or not we can find the exact position to make it look exactly the same. Right wall, switch back to custom because that's going to set all of our parameters for us. We're going to come forward. We're going to change our height to 10, I think it was. And then we're going to come over 1. And then if we flip it to west facing... I think the torches could be redone because they weren't designed to be viewed from this angle, I don't think. But... also, their colors are so much more intense than the candelabra ones. I think that might be the room. I know I'm very fussy with like deciding this map stuff, and I take a really long time. What was this to build this one? About an hour and a half. But like, I don't know. I'm being very picky about trying to create this very specific vision. And maybe it doesn't matter at the end of the day, but I'm having fun. Like, now that all the map editor stuff is done, this is immensely enjoyable. Immensely enjoyable to just like, you know, place little props and like create little scenes. I've been wanting to do this honestly for years, and it's just, the engine is finally getting to a point, or the project is finally getting to a point where we can actually do what I'm trying to achieve. Okay, let's import it and see if there's any tile by tile issues. So we're going to grab this, we're going to drag it under the room, we're going to raycast the environment, we're going to make sure that debugs are all turned off, we're going to save, and then we're going to hit play and see it appear one by one. What did I name this stream? Tutorial Zone V2? I feel like we've been naming streams some variation of Tutorial Zone V2 or Map for Tutorial 2 or something like that for like every stream basically. Yeah, so you would only see this object and none of the other work I've put in unless I have it like pulse as you walk down that hallway. Oh, that's funny. When certain walls come in, they can cover the windows as well as they float up. So we do need a permanent solution. I can't walk on this tile, but I think that makes sense even though it's pretty far forward. It's like, oh, that's where the pillar is. All right, let's fix the map. I think I'm happy with this layout. Even if we change the props around, I think the floor is pretty fixed at this point. Let's go take a look. In here for TO4 work in progress, we're going to grab this template, and then we need to open the new stamp one, because Drixie would like to use the new floor. It says all formats. Where did... Oh, she didn't check it in. That's fine. We'll do this one for now. I suppose we won't have the full stamp, but one thing worth trying very quickly, one time. Infinite retries, content, design data, dungeons, Demon Castle. No, sorry. Art, dungeons, Demon Castle. Let's open TO3 work in progress. Did I stomp? I may have destroyed her work. I think we can get it back, maybe, question mark. We modified TO3, but I'm not seeing any edits to TO3. Yes, we did. We did stomp it. Discard these changes. Go back to what we had before. Open. Close this down. Open tier 3 work in progress. Okay. Can we inverse selection? Copy that. Paste it here. Yeah, we need to do that on a new layer, but otherwise I think this will work. We'll have to do some stitching to make it function, but line that up perfectly like that, and then copy it, and then paste it, and move it perfectly aligned. Right there, I think is perfect. Okay, and then if we go back to layer 1, select this, and then we're going to need to invert the selection, go back to this layer, delete everything, and then there's just a little bit of cleanup we have to do. How do we want to do that? Honestly, probably as fastest way is just to do this. Invert this selection, copy it, and then just cover this up. Because there's just a little bit of white that was like off. Oh, it's a little different in spots. Oh. Oh, which causes it not to line up perfectly. Oh, that's why there's an edge problem. Okay, she didn't copy and paste this floor perfectly every single time. Which is why there's some discrepancies in it. Huh. That's fine. Just trying to figure out how I want to do this then. It's just for the edge. I think this should be okay at this point. Let's just try it. Let's do here, select again, invert selection, select the top layer, delete. Yeah, that's fine. More than good enough. Okay, so we're gonna save this version of work in progress, and then we'll come back in here and do Demon Castle. Run processor. I've lost chat. Okay, it's fine. Everything's okay, chat. I wasn't missing anything. Not on YouTube or anything. Good. Okay, perfect. We ran everything, so this should be functional. Oh, and then I need to untick overwrite. Because apparently that got turned on at some point in one of these rooms, and it has been staying on, and that's what's stomping some of our floors. Definitely makes the shadows pop more. I think the color could be a bit darker. It feels a little too white to me. I don't think it's zero lighting. Zero lighting just really makes everything like feel so much flatter. Okay. Okay, we'll go with that for now. Did I just break it? I may have just broken it. Where'd that file go? Because I hit save before I unticked the box, and I'm curious if it raycast the room and just stopped my work. In which case I can just save the Aseprite file I haven't closed yet, and it should be fine, but... this is data. We need to be looking in art, which is going to be up here. Demon Castle. TO4 work in progress should look like... Yeah, okay, it's still good. Didn't get stomped. Okay, then we're going to go back to TO3 because we're going to work on it, but also because I want to untick that box here before I forget as well. Bane of my existence. It just needs to be a button. It shouldn't be able to be left on by accident, thus deleting any work in progress work. It's a necessary button though, because like we're about to change this whole layout and we want to be able to modify the work in progress version. Now, if this is a hallway, I think it has a similar layout to the previous one. So I'm going to go back to TO2 and use it as a base for our kind of floors here. These cubes, essentially. We're going to copy all of the cubes and then go back over here so that it feels like an extension of what we already had. We'll go into this one. We're going to delete all of these cubes. One too many cubes. We want to keep the far cube. Well, we'll do them at one at a time. This one can go, this one can go, this one can go, this one can go, this one must stay. These need to get added down here. This one we don't need. Wait. Did I delete the wrong one? Whatever. It's fine. I probably wanted to keep this one as well. We're going to just come over here and go to TO4 because it did get extended, and I want to make sure I extend it the right way. So we'll copy this, go back. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. It's fine. TO3. It's going to do a re-import because I accidentally told it to generate the scene names again. Okay, and then it didn't actually switch scenes. Very nice, thank you. Okay, come in here, paste this cube, and we're going to move it to the opposite side of the map, over to here. Drag it into here, and then this one can go. Now this section is going to need to match up. And we will extend it a little bit so we can have walls on the side. And that feels like another hallway. Is that all we want to do? Maybe that's all we want to do. Change up the background music again. Let's go to Fallen, I want to hear this vibe for a little bit. I'm trying to think if I want to try and differentiate this hall a little bit more. And I'm just not sure how to do that easily. I think them having similar layouts is going to make it feel pretty large and maybe a little confusing. It's not like I'm asking you to walk through 16 halls, though. It's just 2 halls that are somewhat similar. Let's start here. Let's open the... Okay, this is the situation where we need that button. And you know what? We're going to do it. We're just going to add the button now. We're going to come into here. We're going to get rid of the work in progress thing. Where does that live? Here. Where are you used? You're used as part of one specific call for if the texture is equal to null or if we've ticked overwrite. And this is happening inside of save tile map, which happens inside of here, which happens inside of generate raycast temp, which the editor is right up here. Okay. So we're going to have raycast environment clear, and then we're going to have overwrite work in progress texture. We're going to add a bool here for overwrite texture, which is going to be false almost all the time. We're going to do the same thing inside of save map. Here, we'll pass it down through. And then here it will also take this value, and we'll use this value instead of... Did I pass it? I'm sorry, where did it go? Was it not in here? What? Overwrite. Here. Yeah, I just scrolled past it, I guess. And then we can get rid of this bool. Okay. And I believe that should make it so that that functionality, once we set this to true, will essentially do a raycast just like the main one, but it will overwrite our work in progress texture if we hit that button. We're also going to clear, because sometimes that can cause issues if we don't clear. It's more to do with the wall 3D mesh generation stuff than it is to do with the floor, but we're going to do it to be on the safe side. Once Unity finishes processing the script changes that I've made, thank you, clear, and then we're going to overwrite the texture. Now we can come into here, delete this one, file, open recent, TO3 work in progress, and this is the new floor plan. We will copy this T. We will look through and try and find this thing. We will delete this version here. We will paste our new thing in there. Nope. Okay. Copy. Paste. Please paste. Copy. Copy, copy, copy. It is not letting me copy between files. I still don't know why this is happening sometimes. Like, sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't work, and I have not figured out why or what I'm doing wrong. Well, now that it's locked, it's not letting me do anything. Okay, so that's not the answer. Is this locked? No, but it's not visible. That would be a problem. All right, good talk. I'm going to line this up so that it's mostly lined up as best as it can with the edges of the bricks. That looks pretty good to me. I can't undo. Good to know. Where is the edge of these bricks? I think... that looks good. Okay, so then we're going to select here, go down a level, select this one, hit copy. We're going to hit paste. We can see that it's pasted that information. We can now paste that in. I don't know why it pastes the whole thing. That's the thing that doesn't make sense to me. Copy this, paste this. Thank you. It seems moving it fixes it. I'm not sure why. Okay, so then we have this floor. This one has a bit of a crack running through it. So sure, it gives it more variation. Then we're going to want to do the same thing we did there, where we're going to grab some of these rugs. Copy. Paste. We need to select this layer. Paste. Copy. Paste. Copy. Paste. Okay, good talk. That goes there. This is going to continue this way. Technically, it can go off the screen, but I'll line it up anyways. I guess more importantly is I want it to kind of feel like it's still on this axis. Which that's close. Oh, I should be doing this on a separate layer. It's fine. Then we're going to come into this one and we're going to grab one of these long ones here. And doing this on a separate layer, I'm going to try and make this rug even bigger. I should be able to just extend it like this. And then we just need to copy this bit and paste it a few times, I think. Little bit of weirdness with this pixel specifically. That's an easy cleanup. Oh, not an easy cleanup. It's actually this one that we want to copy. Okay, that looks good. Then we need to continue this pattern here. And every time we copy it, it'll get a little easier. Because then we can just copy a little bit more. But never more than... never more than that. Okay. This should be fine. Just copy, copy, copy. We're going to make a much grander rug here. Okay, then we're going to chop out this piece and this piece. Should be able to grab this end here and flip it. Nope. I keep wanting to think that Control F is flip, but it is not. All right. Flip horizontally. Nope. Flip vertically. Is it flip both? Yes. That seems good. I don't think the height matters here as long as this bottom part is the same length. Okay, and then we're gonna just delete most of this because I don't want to get confused with this section because it's kind of an odd old form of it. Try and clean up some of these little red pixels as well. Okay, now the question is, can I just flip horizontally this whole thing as well? If I copy this, paste it, and then flip, or I guess I could just 180 rotate. Can I just put this here? That looks right. Okay, and then we should just be able to do a pixel grab of this color and paste it in there. So close. Just gotta patch up these little frayed edges of the rug, I guess. I knew there was supposed to be one more. Okay. Cool. So that is a massive rug. Question, can we steal it? If we copy this, come back over to... Don't save this one. If we go back over to... TO4 work in progress. We can. I think it goes there. But that's a little too long. We're going to have to figure out where it needs to go, but... Oh, this needs to be on a separate layer. New layer. Copy. Paste. Executing on the vision. So this is going to want to go underneath of the crystal, but not too much further past it. What is this? Oh, I got it off in a couple of spots. It wasn't just a simple recut. Okay. No, you caught it. You're right. It was easier to see on the white. Yeah, it's still here too. That's unfortunate. I think that means I need to start over. That was a mistake I literally made right at the beginning. I guess I can try and find a good section of it. No, because that means the whole thing is potentially angled ever so slightly differently. Because can I... Maybe I can I do the same thing here? No, I can't just remove or add because the whole thing is, like, off by a couple bits. Interesting. This is not as easy to patch as I thought it would be. Is that correct? I believe it messes up right there. One, two, 1, 2. That looks better. In fact, can we just... This will probably make it a little easier. If we wanted to make it even easier still, we could also probably just do like a solid color in behind. Yeah, that helps. Okay. Oh, gotta copy this section. And line this up. That looks good. Trying not to move too fast so that we don't make a mistake. Grab that section and then we'll repaste it over here, hopefully with it being accurate this time. And then we'll flip it around. Rotate 180. Why did you move it up there? What? Okay. Copy, paste. Rotate 180. Thank you. Now line it up here on this side. We do need to turn back on this layer. To be able to see where we're trying to stop at. We may not be able to line it up perfectly. That's okay. Because I think I'm going to rope this area off like we did with the previous hallway, or block it in some way so you can't come down here. Yeah, because if we come over and down, it's just not going to line up. We could try and patch it, but it's just the spot I chopped from is just not... Oh shoot, I lost it. The spot I chopped from isn't very good. So we'll flip it and we'll move this over here. That looks correct to me and is probably as good as we're gonna get. Okay, so now we do as much of this side as we can. Can we just loop cut this? What if we just lasso a huge section of it like that, and then copy it, and then rotate 180? That looks correct. It's going down 2 pixels every time, maintaining that shape. Okay. How did this part get messed up? What? How? But, what? What? Did I undo too many times? This is gonna be the bane of my existence. Now this side's messed up. What is happening? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, that's fair. I see what I've done wrong. Yeah, I'm rotating the entire image. Okay. That makes sense why it's flipping. I thought that would only flip this part. Yeah. But this works. So I can flip. Ooh, that's a fun time. All right. Glad. Mm-hmm. Comedy. Okay. Copy, paste. Can I, oh, is it this one? Nope, that still does it. So that's rotating the whole sprite. What if I do edit, rotate here? Okay, so if I hit sprite rotate, this one is rotating the entire canvas. If I hit this rotate, that's rotating my current copy and paste that I have selected. Cool, good talk. And I lasso tooled too far down and caught some of the bad spots. It's a little too close for comfort. What I'll do is I'll just go from here. That way I know I'm far away from that edge. Okay. I see. Yeah. The bottom is slightly angling, but copy and pasting won't fix it. We kind of have to almost do that, I think. Then we can copy and paste this. Rotate, not sprite, but this part 180. Ooh, still broken even at that point? Because the flipped part is extending too far up. Why? All right, Let's stop before we go too much further. Is anything wrong with that setup? No, that looks fine to me. So we can copy and paste this section, bring it down. That looks correct. That looks correct. Copy and paste this section, rotate. What's the distance between the top left right corner and the bottom left right corner? Are we thinking it's like, this area is wrong? How did I... Is there a fundamental issue with the rug itself? Like, I'm trying to copy it, assuming that it itself is correct, but maybe... it has some sort of issue with its design. My eye is drawn here. Okay. So the rug goes... So I've been looking at this inner line to see if I've got everything right. And everything is right on this inner line. But here it breaks down. So the pattern is down 3 to the left, 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 down 3 to the left. So I think at some point this is getting broken. Can I do like a line on a different layer and then select that line, continuous off, then go back to this layer and delete? No, that doesn't clean it up properly because it's not an even number. Why is my math so my brain is so math oriented that I can't just let this be? It's fine. It doesn't matter. No one's going to notice the 1 pixel difference. But like, it's destroying me. It's destroying me. Why is it different here? Why? Okay. The pattern is 1 down, 3 to the right, 1 down, 3 to the right, 1 down, 3 to the right. This maintains all the way along. This is also maintained all the way along. If I copy a section of this, copy it, paste it, and then just move it down, does that maintain the pattern? No. Up here it broke. Does this maintain the pattern? Yes? I'm going to go with yes. We're going to move on. I'm lining it up so that this line here matches with this line here. And this still looks okay. This section here of white is bothering me, but it's fine. That still looks okay. So is it the moment that I flip it that it breaks? So when I rotate this 180, wrong version, copy, paste, edit, rotate here. When I do this, is this when it breaks? When I try and line them up together? No. That still looks fine. So even though I was trying to be really careful, I just keep making the same kind of slight different mistake each time. These are all lined up. These are all lined up. That staircase seems to be maintaining. This seems fine. This seems fine. We're going to keep going. This seems fine. You can kind of almost tell because as long as there's still these like little spots where white, 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 gray, gray, like show up, you know it's still going in a straight line. So that's off. That's correct. That looks good. Copy. Paste. I have it separate. Go to edit, rotate 180. Turn back on the floor. Line it up at the end. We have overshot a little bit. So we're going to put this off to one side. We're going to delete some of this. Hopefully that doesn't cause some sort of issue. One, three, one, three, one down, three, one down, three. That looks fine. Up here. That looks fine. Holy smokes, I think we did it. We are saving this. We are saving this. This is going into a new file. It's going in here. We're going to make a new layer. We're going to delete the background. We're going to save this. We're going to save as. We're going to save as an ASprite file. We're going to go all the way back up. I'm going to put this in the art folder, worlds, dungeon floors, rug, forever. Okay. Copy this one. Delete everything in this layer. Paste it. Good. Copy this section. Bring it... Oh no, not copy. We want to just bring it in. Let's give that a shot. So we're going to save this one. Saving over the work in progress. Saving over the work in progress of this one. Good. Oh wow, we're overtime. Hey Drixie, thank you for the sprinkle cookies. And the stretch redeem, which I'm going to have to redeem after lunch because we have lost track of time. We're a little bit over. Let's see these things in place. And then we're probably going to call it for lunch. I don't know why it's giving me errors about one of our old test scenes. Oh, I also missed a YouTube comment as well. I'm sorry if you're still watching. Okay, this is our floor. That's loading in fine. I mean, if you want to build demon moats with piranhas, sure, but I can barely build a carpet, so... Okay, that needs walls to feel better. How's this feeling? Oh... We never added TO4 to the scene and we just never noticed? Okay, that's fair. Okay, let's give this one a try from here. The flying demons. The demons with wings would feed them. That's pretty close. Yeah, I guess you wouldn't want the edge of the carpet underneath the pedestal, so I guess this is lined up pretty much exactly where you'd want it. I do kind of want to bring it in just like a pixel, because it does feel weird that it's like a 2 pixel gap and then like a single dotted line gap on this side. But that's a struggle for another day. Okay. Can we go back to TO3? Yeah, we can. And now this transition works? Yeah. Okay, that's the 3 or the 4 rooms. We've got closet, hallway into this relic room. I need to get animations in. We need to get the decor from the previous room, which hopefully shouldn't be too bad. And we need to do a bunch of cutscene work. That's the main thing. When we get back from lunch, we're going to need to do a bunch of intro cutscenes. So we're going to finish up the hallway. We're going to do some cutscenes. We're going to have to make cutscenes for the room filling in. We're going to have to make cutscenes for Hero talking to themselves. Like I said in the beginning of the stream, I'd like to have some interactables that kind of, if the player wishes, can like interact and kind of get more knowledge about the space. Yeah, but I'm going to take a break for lunch. We're over time a little bit. I'm only going to have 45 minutes. I think we still come back at 2. I've got some leftovers today, so it should be quick to chow down. And I will be back at 2 o'clock in about 45 minutes. Did we want to... We got a raid yesterday from people, and it made me realize we don't tend to raid folks too much. But I'll be back in a little bit anyway, so I'm not seeing anyone. I'm also not sure how to choose someone to raid. I can see the UI, but I'm not sure how that works. Anyways, I gotta go get lunch. Maybe we'll do a raid at the end of the stream today, at the 2 to 4 one. But